Shannon Rice-Muruli, and you are tuned in to Fire Her TV, the place to be for a woman like you who is interested in learning from phenomenal women and men who are ready to share their insight and information to help you, the woman who may be in startup. And today you're in for a treat. I tell you, this woman is super bad. She's an entrepreneur, she's a mentor, she's a coach, she's a speaker. She has an expertise in helping charitable organizations thrive. So get excited about Miss Kimberly O'Neill.
Thanks, Shannon.
Thank you so much for being here. And I think, the last time we were in a setting like this, we were talking about the power of focus, right?
Absolutely.
And this was actually a year ago, and I think I wanted to just try and revert back to that because we finished, or we've gone into the first 6 months of this year, right? And some people may have gotten a little bit distracted or off course, or something like that when it comes to achieving their goals. And so as we approach the last 6 months of this year, I want people to thrive. And so talk to us a little bit about how you've been able to really stay focused when there have possibly been some distractions that tried to hold you back.
Shannon, I think the main thing that helps me to stay focused, or when I get off track to bring me back, is to really pay attention to what is it that I really want. Mm-hmm. And when I can really pinpoint the exact things that I really want, I pay attention and draft the roadmap to get there. And some of it, I go through these periods where I don't watch television, and I used to call it a TV diet.
Okay.
But I no longer have cable.
Wow.
Anything that I want to watch, I find it online, and it's my ability to filter the types of information that goes in. And I don't think we pay attention to all of the stuff that we take in subconsciously, how it really impacts our day-to-day and how we interact with people and how kind we are. And I pay attention to discussions I've heard over the years. So I remember Keenan Ivory Wayans said on one of those shows that Oprah does with, I don't know, Life After, whatever it's called, a while ago, she asked whether or not the Wayans allowed their children to watch their movies. And they said absolutely, because it's comedy. Mm-hmm. And he jumped in and said, but I don't allow my children to watch horror flicks.
Wow.
I don't allow my children to watch movies where there's a lot of killing. And that made me think about a show that I saw, a segment on 20 years ago, where they had a little boy just sitting there playing a video game, but they had heart monitors on him. And when they finished the segment, they said although he was still and just his thumbs were moving, his heart was racing so quickly that he was at heart attack level. And he was probably 7, 8 years old. And so I think about those things when I choose what goes in. We don't realize that our circle of influence and the information that we allow to impact our lives, we don't realize how much we subconsciously carry those burdens. If you're a part of my circle of influence, right, I'm considering you a very valuable person in my life, but you, Shannon, still carry burdens.
Yeah.
When I allow you as part of my circle of influence, I'm also carrying the burdens that you carry as well. Yeah. So we have to be selective with the people, the places, and the things that we allow to surround ourselves, because it impacts our focus. And so I don't watch television. I watch things online. If I can't find it, I'll just kind of figure out what's going on. I'm a news junkie, but I also don't watch news that much anymore because it depresses me. I'm on a need-to-know basis. Yeah. And then the people that I choose to surround myself with have to have value. Yeah. When you are the smartest person in the room, and I think we all should believe that about ourselves, you have to make sure that the other people in the room are just as smart or smarter. Yeah. Because when you're not, you begin to give everything out, and nobody is replacing that stuff within you. Absolutely. Yes. And so I pay attention to that. Some people may not like it. Some people may call it arrogant. Some people may call it cocky. I call it investing in myself.
Yeah. And protecting yourself.
Protecting and investing, because when I'm able to do that, when we talk about entrepreneurship, then I'm able to give to my customers and to my client. I can't give to them if I'm not taking care of myself in that way first.
That is such great insight, and I hope that you all really took in what she just shared. And when I think about, most of the women in startup, one of the things that I found that they get sort of tripped up on, Kim, is not getting the most important things done. And that leads to broken focus. So just tell us, I know you just talked about a couple of things that you do, but how have you been able to stay on that path, especially when you have that level of focus, Kim? People may tend to think that you're kind of crazy, because it takes so much focus in the beginning stages to really start seeing any results. So how have you been able to sharpen your focus?
I'm flawed, just like everyone else. And so I realized first that I have to work on those things, because just like everyone else, I have those days and those moments where I don't want to do this anymore. And I have to figure out how to get myself out of that rut so that I can continue. And so I meditate every morning. I pray every morning. Meditation at least 15 to 20 minutes. That's my cap.
How does somebody, tell us about this meditation process, because I know it's a big thing that Oprah and Deepak kind of, have going on. How does someone really just start the process of that?
Okay, I want to tell you. Go to your smartphone, your smart device, look up an app called Meditation Light, and that's how I started, and that's how I finish. I don't pay attention to any other types of meditation, any books. I just realized I was so anxious and I couldn't slow my mind down. And I just literally went into the app store and found an app, and I just put in meditation, and a few of them popped up, and this one called Meditation Light, and I really just listened to what they were telling me to do, and it lasts about 15 or 20 minutes, and I took a nap after that first time. And what I realized, it's not about this concept that people are doing that's, it's the buzz thing to do, it's the sexy thing to do right now. For me, it was about my mind never shut off, and I needed to figure out how to do it. And I wanted to know what meditation was all about, and so that's what I did. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I just knew that I wanted to try something different. It's just so outside of my comfort zone to try something like that. That's not me. I'm the person that will turn on some hip hop in a minute, and that's how I go. But I realized that I just needed to shut my mind off, and that's how I started. I pray every day. My prayer can last 30 seconds. My prayer can last an hour, but that's my quiet time to kind of just focus on who I am. And I don't do any business before 10 a.m.
Okay.
With my assistant, when she's, working on my calendar, I am very structured when it comes to meetings and appointments. Mondays and Fridays, there's nothing that I do for anyone else, meaning meetings and telephone calls. That's my time to catch up. From the time I get up in the morning, I have this checklist of things that I do, and at 10 a.m. is the first time that I will start, talking to people via phone or holding meetings, whether it's a potential new client or an existing client. That's my structure, and I am my goal is to be done by 6 o'clock every day. So I put structure in, and I think people say, when you're an entrepreneur, you need to work around the clock. I don't believe that. That's why I left a full-time job, because I was working 70, 80 hours a week. I had no control over it, and one of my gifts back to myself was to go to sleep 8 hours a day. I don't care how I get it, but I have to sleep 8 hours a day, and to just be able to control my schedule where it's healthy for me. And then I also, in terms of my calendar, how I work every day. So my assistant makes sure that my calendar, in terms of appointments and things like that, it's on the digital calendar. But I actually carry a traditional calendar around, and I block out my time every day. And so I block out when my telephone calls, my face-to-face appointments are. There has to be 30 minutes in between each call, an hour between each meeting I actually travel to. But
why is that important?
It's important for me. I need to be able, number one, in case I go overtime, if I'm in an important call, I'm respectful of people's time, but if it needs to go over, I want to allow for that. But if it ends on time, I need time to decompress before the next meeting, because I need to get my focus back so that I can give my all to the next person, and I'm not worn out from the prior person, because it can be a light topic or it could be a heavy topic depending on what I'm talking about. And so any of the time, the rest of the time during the day, there may be 30 minutes allocated for one thing, and I work by a time clock, a stopwatch, and so when those 30 minutes are up, I need to be wrapping up or I need to be finished before I go on to the next thing. And so, you know, I think we all have to find those things that work for us. And for me, I'm very organized, and I think it comes from my government background, but I'm very organized and very structured because I think as an entrepreneur, we can sometimes get so caught up in the flexibility of our own schedules that we forget about the deliverables, and it ends up being this party, and then we end up staying up all night. But if we give ourselves a great 8 during the day, a great 8 during the day, you may not need to go to 10 o'clock every night. You may not need to go to Saturday. You may not need to work on Sunday. You may, depending on what your business is. But if we're just looking in the grand scheme of things, can you give yourself a great 40 every week in your business and focus on that, and then have free time to do the other things? And then I also think, Shannon, with focus, it's not just about business. It's about, what does Kim need? I divide my goals into 3 very different areas. So there's business, and then there's social, you know, how we interact or how I interact with other people. And then there's self. And it's, what do I like to do? What do I need? What are the things that I have not done in over 15 years because I've been focused on working for other people and trying to build this business? What is it that I need? I want to take a photography class, you know, or I may want to take a writing class, something that has nothing to do with my business. Those are the things that say, outside of my business and this profession that I'm building on, and out of this networking and engagement with other people that I need to do, what makes me happy? And I think I lost sight of that. I lost the fun part of that. And so I'm trying to get back to that. So now my goals are set up in 3 different ways. So I'm focusing on all aspects of my life.
It's so interesting what you just brought to our attention, because Brene Brown, who I adore, she's such a thought leader. She talks about we live in a world of scarcity, more so, and we hear it all the time: go hard or go home, or just, you know, you got to work, 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 you know, and that's coming from a place of scarcity and not love, not self-love. And so I'm so happy she mentioned that, because if you are in the startup phase, one of the things you're probably going to hear more than anything is that you just need to work and go hard and, you know, just do it harder, even though you're exhausted. And that's not really what, you know, you're going to be able to create the value that your customers need and you need as an entrepreneur and a CEO and a visionary to really move forward. So thank you for that insight on focus.
Focus. And if I can add just one more thing to kind of, I think, bring that on home when we talk about go hard as entrepreneurs.